Hold on, there we go. All right, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dan-A-Plooza. I am your host, Dan the Man, and my guest at this time is Delaney Hathaway. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You're welcome. For those tuning in and future tuning in, Delaney Hathaway is an actress, and currently her projects is Virt, VIRT. That'll be coming out August in 2022 with Dizzy Boy Productions. So make sure to follow that page. We've also shared the YouTube trailer in the Dan-A-Plooza page, so make sure to follow and like. The next project, and I may need help with a little bit with the pronunciation, Horiath is the next project, and that'll be doing a premiere May 25th, next Wednesday, 2022. And the recent project, which had a successful premiere, was Done Waiting, Chapter 2. So go ahead and follow those things. Also, if you want to follow Delaney on social media, check out her Delaney Hathaway with 2 Ys on Facebook and Instagram. So make sure to follow that.
Yep. Can't miss me. My name is pretty same on all of my social media. So,
and for those watching on if you want to see more of this interview or other interviews, follow the Dan-A-Plooza Facebook page or the YouTube channel, Dan the Man Vids. All right, so let's go ahead and now that the plugging promo segment
that's over. Yeah.
Yes. So Delaney, can you talk a little bit about your current project and the role that you have in Virt, VIRT?
Yeah, so this project is very exciting. It's taken us quite some time to get it all together because a large portion of it was actually CGI'd. So that was an experience in and of itself. It's the first time that I had ever been in a full green screen room to do full green screen work. And I can say that I learned so much from it. It was an absolutely amazing experience. My character in this is one that is kind of traveling along the journey of the main character, who is kind of split in between reality and virtual reality. And what she does is kind of gives him a reason to explore both of those universes. And then there's also kind of I don't want to say like a thriller, like takes you on a journey between the main character and then the other main character, and then my character as well. They kind of lead you through this journey of reality and virtual reality, and then how they cross over in the end. So it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with everybody and for everybody to see it. And yeah, stay tuned. Coming to you this August.
So it's safe to say it's a little bit of a twister where you're going in one direction and you may go another direction.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those plots when you're talking about it, you don't want to talk about it too much because you'll give too much away.
Right.
Yes, but yeah, it takes you on some twists and turns. There's some couple of unexpected things in there that I think the audience is really going to enjoy.
That's great, and we look forward to when that premieres. So everyone, keep tuning in. We'll be sharing that information, and make sure to follow and like and all the wonderful social media interaction. And so then your next current project, Horiath, can you talk a little bit about what that movie is and what your role is in that featured as well?
Yeah. In Horiath, I play more of a supporting character in this project, but the project itself is a psychological thriller where the main character is witnesses a murder, where he thinks he witnesses a murder, but because of past traumatic experiences in his life, he is experiencing auditory and visual hallucinations. So he's not sure if he actually witnessed the murder or if it was something that his mind created to him. So you're kind of seeing him journeying through his mental illness along with, you know, an actual murder that took place. So you're kind of seeing how that unfolds. My character particularly plays one of the detectives in there that's investigating what happened. So that one's really cool. I've seen the preview of that, and it's beautiful. The colors of that, the way that it's shot, everything about it is wonderful. So yeah, on Wednesday the 25th, it's going to be premiering in Sewickley at the Toll Family Theater. Tickets are free, so you just have to go online and reserve those, and then come on and join us. There's going to be live music, red carpet premiere, interviews with the cast. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So it's definitely something to say, you know, when you were talking about what he thinks he is seeing versus the hallucination. And does it go kind of like with that saying, like how your mind can play tricks on you sometimes?
Yes, in his case, definitely. He goes through a couple of experiences where he's reliving trauma that he dealt with in the past, and that manifests in various forms. One of them being auditory and visual hallucinations. So he really is unsure sometimes of what he's experiencing is actually happening or not.
So we'll make sure to follow that, and we'll share it in the Dan-A-Plooza. And we look forward to when it premieres successfully next Wednesday.
Yeah. Me too.
Now, did you always know, or when did it click at the time when you're like, I want to be an actress. This is something for me?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Growing up, I was always deemed a social butterfly. I always liked, you know, to be kind of the center of attention. I was thrown in dance when I was young. I did gymnastics for a while. I did baton. But I would say the first real experience that I actually had in theater. It's where I got my start. And it was a youth theater, or a summer theater, I guess, that was put on by a liberal arts college in Adrian, Michigan, where my family lived for a while, and I grew up, partially grew up in. And the very first play that I did, if I'm recalling correctly, because I was very young, there were two that really stood out. One of them was Stuart Little. Followed the movie or the book pretty accurately. And then the other one was a rendition of Sleeping Beauty. And both of those were fun. I think Sleeping Beauty stuck out just a little bit more, one, because I really love fairy tales, and two, because it was kind of a play on Sleeping Beauty, where instead of Sleeping Beauty falling asleep, the whole village that she was watching over fell asleep. And so she was on an adventure to try to figure out, like, why was everybody asleep, and like how could she wake them up. And so it was very much like a heroine type of production. And that was also the first time that we did a little bit of more of musical theater. And that's what I really liked. I really liked being, you know, the dancing side of it, the singing side of it. And so I did that for a couple of years. And then I got out of it for a bit. And it wasn't until I got to high school, and my family moved to Fort Wayne at this point, and I had to fill a class that I had open in my class roster. So I decided I was going to take theater, because why not? Everyone's like, it's a blow-up class. It's fun. Like, you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do work.
What was that?
You don't have to do work. You just
exactly. You know, you just gotta memorize some things, and if you're like decent, you're gonna pass, right? It's gonna be fine. I ended up being in a class full of like juniors and seniors. There was like 4 freshmen, and so I was, needless to say, I was very intimidated, and I felt like I had to bring it, with lack of better words there. but I ended up falling in love with it again because it really brought me back to, again, what I experienced when I was young, and really made me want to get back into it. So I would say maybe freshman year theater class would be the turning point of just where I fell back in love with it and realized, like, this is something that I really enjoy and want to continue to pursue. And shortly after that, I started to do show choir. I did color guard when I was in high school, which is a part of marching band. If people aren't aware, it's for people that can't read music, but like still want to be in the band.
Right.
So I did that. And then sophomore year is also when I auditioned for my very first feature film, and ended up landing that role. And we started filming my junior year, somewhere between sophomore and junior year. So that's really where I got into all of it. It was high school. It was like those couple of years in high school.
Yep. We share something in common. I cannot also read music as well.
You would think, though, after all of the years I've been in choir and marching band, like something would have stuck, and I can't follow. I'm even in a choir right now, and I can follow along by hearing it. Mm-hmm. And they play the notes on the piano and I can match, but I just can't look at the piece of music and being like, that's an A, and be able to produce that. Like, I have no idea what that means.
Yep, I'm the same way. Dan, what's that note? No idea. What do you want it to be?
Yep. You play first and I'll match you.
Yeah, I'll match you. Yep, that's what I do. Yeah. But so then did you continue after high school? Did you do like college and continue on with your theater, or what was the next path?
Yeah, high school I was really active. So like I said, I did my first feature film. That was Phantom of the Woods. That's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Look that one up. Also a psychological thriller. Is my first horror movie. Funny because I don't like horror movies. I have an appreciation for them now because I've been in so many of them and know how things work behind the scenes. But in that moment, I was like, what is going on here? And then after that, with that same crew of people, I ended up in 2 other films of theirs. One of them titled The Stray, and then the other one titled Made Guys. And all 3 of those are on Amazon Prime, so you can find all of those ones. And then as far as school went, because I was so busy with competing in show choir and marching band, I didn't do a whole lot of other film outside of that.
Right.
Towards the end of the year, the theater program in the choirs typically put on a big musical. It was usually the high school's last production of the year. And so I always did those. And I look back on those experiences fondly because they were 2 of my favorite musicals that we did. Mm-hmm. One, because it was the producers, which is very risky for high schoolers to put on if you're not familiar with the musical. Are you familiar with that musical?
I've heard of it.
Okay, so the storyline of it, for people that aren't familiar with it, is great. It's a wonderful musical. If there's a movie about it, you should watch it. It's about 2 guys, one of them being a playwright and the other one being a producer. And they come together because the producer figures out that he can make more money by making a flop of a musical than he will if a musical is successful. Because when a musical flops, nobody asks for that money back. You just keep it. But when it's successful, people are like, oh, I want to keep investing. Where's the profit? I want to see the turnaround, right? So they team up and they write what they think is a terrible musical, them with the help of a couple of other people, about Hitler.
Right.
Yeah. So in it, there's a couple of things that they're like making fun of Hitler and all of this other stuff. But there's a whole musical number that's literally titled Springtime for Hitler.
Oh, yeah.
And I joke because our high school musical, that was my senior year, I believe. We all were wearing like, this sounds so bad, but we were all wearing like, the Nazi attire and like all of the get up and stuff like that. So like my high school yearbook is just filled with that. And I was realizing, holy cow, like this is not, looking back on fond memories here. I remember the reviewer came and was like so appalled that a high school was doing a musical about Hitler and like didn't even stay to see the end of the musical, which really is about, the musical is about friendship and like owning yourself and like finding yourself. And it's like got a really good message to it, but was just so appalled at that number that a high school was even doing that. Like that's all they wrote in the review for the musical. And I was like, holy cow, this is what I'm going to be known for. Like, this is not great. And then the other one that we did that I really, really liked and is probably still my all-time favorite is Legally Blonde.
Okay.
That one was a lot of fun just because it was so upbeat. The cast was phenomenal that year. I feel like the director of that show really chose the musical to fit the people that he had that year, which was, he did a really good job that time. And that's one that I think I will always go and see if it ever comes to town or something like that, just because I'm so attached to it and I love the music from it. So yeah. Then as we got into college, I kind of got away from things a bit. I didn't do a whole lot because of just college life. I went a couple of different directions.
Right.
So wasn't really until I got back into Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh's a way bigger market than Indiana for film things, is really when things started to pick back up. I moved to Pittsburgh in 2017. I was here for about 3 months and then went to my first acting workshop, got signed on an agent at that point. And then 2018 is just when everything took off. That's when we filmed Vert. I, met a whole lot of new connections with a bunch of people. I met the person that I worked on my first feature film with, Little Mouse, that he wrote, casted it, all of that stuff. And that premiered officially last October in 2021. And then officially is on Amazon Prime as of March of this year.
That's great. And I knew it started clicking to me with the producers because I've seen the movie version with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick.
Yep. So, it's so good. Everybody go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Everyone go watch it. And Legally Blonde, that's always one that I've wanted to see as well. I think that it's great when they can make the movie and like they can have the theater adaptation and it still resonates and you could still kind of enjoy it, because sometimes it's that hard transition of movie to theater, and people only like the movie and they don't like the theater version, or they only like the theater version, not the movie version. So
right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of those times there's a lot of competition between the two, because it's like whatever your first love was, you kind of want to stay to that. You're a little loyal to it.
Right.
But again, like you're saying, the adaptations are not always great. It's not always a 1-for-1. We can take Bring It On, for example. I don't know if anybody has seen that, but that was an interesting. I see what they were trying to go for the musical version.
Right.
I just wasn't, they didn't quite get there.
They missed the mark a bit.
just a little.
Just a scotch. But yeah, I always think of Cats. I liked the more theater version than the movie version. Not to say that the movie version is bad. I saw that first, I
haven't seen it. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen either version, so I couldn't compare. But I did see the reviews about the movie version or the live action version, just not up to par.
Yeah, there's been people complaining.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is. Do you have like a dream role, like as far as film or theater? Like what is the coup de grace, like the film role that you would most be like your heart content with?
That's a great question. And funny enough, I've been asked this a couple of times and I don't ever know if I've answered it fully.
To be continued.
Yeah, I think as an actor, something that we not everybody. I guess I'll speak for myself because obviously this is an interview that makes sense. In my opinion, I think something that really draws me to this field is just knowing all of the lanes that I can explore.
Right.
And so I don't necessarily look at like one specific type and say, yes, that's the role that I want. For a while, I had really wanted to do genres of things, just to explore like the different emotions that come with that, and just the different character types that could come with that. And at this point in time, I'd say I have met all of my genre wishes. So I think at this point, it's really just finding really like-minded people or filmmakers, creators that have really strong characters in them, regardless of what type of film it is, that I can resonate with, that I see myself being like, yeah, I really want to try this, or I think that this role is really going to stretch me, or that, I think, this role is going to be heartfelt or something. It's going to pull my emotions out or something like that. I think that's what I'm really drawn to. There's a project that it's a short film that I'm working on with a friend of mine who is super talented. She's a special effects makeup artist and creates a lot of monster creatures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's phenomenal. Her Instagram, if people are curious, is CloudJumperFX. Check out her work. But I'm working with her right now because Pittsburgh, it being such an independent film market, which is wonderful. There are so many people here that are making beautiful content, creative content, out of the box content, independent films. A lot of them, because Pittsburgh, I think, was established as a horror market with Dawn of the Dead and all of those things. There's a lot geared towards that genre. And there's nothing wrong with that because there's some really awesome movies that have come from it. I think people that are here now that there's established market have been like, maybe we can expand into something different. I think particularly what set a lot of that off was when The Dark Knight was here and it was an action film filmed here, and people were just like, oh, okay, we can do other things than just like spooky or scary or something like that. And then with the other, projects that have come here recently, that are in different genres that are like heartfelt or teen or like coming of age or romance or things like that. Like people are starting to see that Pittsburgh can offer more than just horror. So with this person that I'm working with, they would really like to merge action in like kind of like a fantasy world together, which we don't really see a lot of here in Pittsburgh. No. And so, not to give too much away, with what we're doing with her, I've been life cast. My head has been life cast to get it so she can make props for my face. I've been basically covered in duct tape so I can create molds of my like body to be able to create costumes and props and stuff like that. Coming up, we're going to be working on sword fighting and in stage combat and film combat and things along those lines. So that's what I'm really excited about right now is working with that group with her particularly, but also just her group of people, because she is, again, so insanely talented. And those are the people that I like to work with that are just like, let's make this happen. Here's my vision. Do you want to be a part of it? Yes.
Right. Right on. I actually have a question from the audience. So,
oh, cool.
I'm sorry I cannot see your name. Sometimes StreamYard doesn't do that, but we will still post it. The Facebook user, how long have you been acting?
That's a great question. If you want to count, if I can count my years when I was even younger, I would say I got started around 6 years old. I'm intermittently off and on there. But 6 years old, I'd say I did it for a couple of years there. And then I picked it back up in high school. And I would say there was a couple of years there. And then I really got back into it about 5 years ago. So I would say altogether, it's probably been around 11 or 12 years altogether.
That's amazing. And I say that because, like, your path is cause kind of similar to mine too. It started out when I was younger, and then I did other stuff. I did sports for a while and everything, and then I picked back up in high school, and so it went from there. So we kind of share that similar pathway.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I did the same thing. When I moved from Michigan to Fort Wayne, it was at a really weird time of my life. It was literally in the middle of a school year. In Michigan, I was in a middle school, and I came back to Fort Wayne, and I was in elementary school. That was a weird shift.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that kind of paused me and like, what do I actually want to do? So I did volleyball for like 4 years. It was like, sports are not for me. I know I'm going back to the acting world, the performance world. I tried the sports thing. It was great. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, I don't think this is going to continue. This is going to work out.
Yeah, for me, I did hockey for a while, so that's what I did.
Nice.
I did the roller hockey. I love the Mighty Ducks movie, so I thought I would do that like later, and then like now that I'm so old, I'm like I can barely still skate.
Oh my gosh, no, that's so cool. I have a lot of friends who play hockey, and I'm amazed by that. Just the amount of like padding that you all have to wear while being agile, and I applaud everybody that can do that. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I play defense. I let everybody else just go, and I just go to center.
You're like, you can come to me.
Yeah, I'm like, come, I'll check you in the board. All right, this going all the way down there. Nope.
That's funny. Every player is important, though. So.
Oh, it was. And it was interesting because we used to play kind of like on the basketball court. So you had the chain fences and everything, and we would play.
True hockey.
Yeah, true. And so it was interesting because some of the kids were like, when do we play basketball? And we're like, we'll be done soon.
Oh, that's fun.
So, but yeah, for me, it was always, it's when my friend did Grease. He did Grease in high school. Mm-hmm. And then my mom was a big fan of Donny Osmond, and we saw Joseph. So when they did Joseph in my high school, that's when I auditioned, and then that's when it stuck.
That is so cool. We're just here, or a school. Somebody recently was doing a rendition of Joseph's in Pittsburgh. Yeah. I don't remember who. That and Jesus Christ Superstar. Those were both here recently.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've heard so much Joseph, I can sing it in my sleep. That may be the way to audition, that way there's no jitters.
Yeah, right? You know it, you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, as long as I can start moving in my sleep, that might be odd.
Yeah, it's bad when you're like dancing, when you like wake up to you like moving and singing along with it. And you're
if I'm doing jazz squares at the refrigerator,
Oh, funny.
But so before we end it, is there anything else you would like to say, promote, plug before we wrap it up?
One thing that if anybody's interested in it is I'm now directing and assistant directing and consulting for a independent company called 3BT Films. We focus on having more creative content for people of color and just being more open to different storylines, not seeing the quote typical TV things. We have a couple of projects that are coming out, and we'll have some trailers actually showing at the Horiath premiere of stuff that we have been working on and things that are coming up that we are really excited for people to see. So that also has a Facebook page. You can find us at 3BT Films. You'll see my face on there. Come and support us. We're really that'll be me. We're really excited, and we're always looking to have more people join our team. So if you're interested, send me a Facebook message and we can talk. Well, I'm not sure if he just logged off or what happened, but thank you all for joining in. I'm sure that he will try to log back on. But it was wonderful getting to talk to everybody, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Until next time.
Hey, so I just wanted to come back on here. I want to apologize because apparently there was technical glitches. So what happened was my computer froze and it just kind of crashed on me. And, it's still charging, booting up. And, it's something that happens, So apologies to anybody who was watching and to Delaney Hathaway. Thank you for watching Dan-A-Plooza. Please also check out Dan-A-Plooza. on the 22nd with Lady J Cosplay. That'll be at 2 p.m. Cole Kane Phoenix at 3 p.m. And Tata's for Now. That'll be our last guest at 4 p.m. So take a look at those guests. Also, make sure to follow Delaney Hathaway on her social media at Delaney Hathaway with 2 Y's, Facebook, Instagram. And make sure to also follow our Dan-A-Plooza Facebook page and YouTube channel, Dan the Man Vids. Everyone, thank you and have a good night.